body, an international effort is growing to stop the terror in the Holy Land. As the United States continues to push for a ceasefire, Pope Francis is once again calling for peace.
Basta, per favore, diciamo tutti noi, basta, per favore.
The Holy Father made the heartfelt appeal at his Sunday Angelus as Gaza's health ministry reports the death toll for the war has risen above 30,000.
Le migliaia di morti, di feriti, di sfolati, le immani distruzioni causano dolore e questo con conseguenze tremende sui piccoli e gli indifesi che vedono compromesso il loro futuro.
The White House also calling for an end to the war on Sunday.
Let's get a ceasefire.
The vice president hosting Israeli war cabinet minister Benny Gantz on Monday, where they're expected to discuss a possible 6-week ceasefire and hostage deal. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is set to meet with Gantz Tuesday.
It is time for the president to use all the leverage that he has to get a long-term ceasefire.
The U.S., Egypt, and Qatar are helping work out the deal. The U.S. wants an agreement by the start of Ramadan this coming Sunday. Hamas has negotiators in Cairo for talks, but Israel didn't send a delegation Sunday. It says it wants some hostage details first. But Harris says Israel agrees to the deal's general framework. Meanwhile, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza continues.
I have to wait also in a line for hours to use the toilets and to take some food if it's available.
UNICEF says at least 10 children have died in recent days from malnutrition and dehydration. It predicts that number will climb rapidly without more humanitarian access. Meantime, Haiti has declared a state of emergency after thousands of dangerous prisoners broke out of two of the country's largest prisons Saturday night. Armed gangs stormed the prisons, releasing criminals with serious offenses such as kidnapping and murder onto the streets. The aim, according to the gang leaders responsible, was to overthrow what remains of the country's government. It's led to some horrifically violent days. The Haitian government has imposed a 6 p.m. curfew in addition to the 72-hour state of emergency. They ordered police to use all legal means to recapture the criminals and enforce the curfew. Dozens were killed after 3 villages were attacked in Burkina Faso. According to officials from the West African country, some 170 people, including women and children, were executed over a week ago. They're appealing to anyone with information to come forward. The attack was on the same day that 15 Catholics were killed during a church attack. Shortly after, Burkina Faso Bishop Justin Kentiga spoke out about the persecution Christians face there.
In my diocese, 2 of the parishes are closed because the priests are they are gone away, and 2 other parishes are under blocos. That means that nobody can enter in, nobody can go out. From time to time, the army or the police will help us to go, and some organizations will also help us.
Bishop Justin went on to say this is a situation of martyrdom for their people. For more updates, stay tuned to Currents News and the tablet newspaper. France has become the first country in the world to enshrine the right to an abortion in its constitution. People were watching on giant screens in public as both houses of parliament met in Versailles on Monday to vote on the historic bill. The measure states that there is a guaranteed freedom to abortion in France. President Emmanuel Macron started pushing for it in 2022 after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The Vatican's Pontifical Academy for Life is saying France has no right to take a human life. They released a statement in response to the vote that says, in part, the Pontifical Academy for Life appeals to all governments and all religious traditions to do their best so that in this phase of history, the protection of life becomes an absolute priority, with concrete measures in favor of peace and social justice, with effective measures for universal access to resources, education, and health. Here in the U.S., the first over-the-counter birth control pill is hitting the shelves this month. O-Pill will be available for as cheap as $20 on its own website in the coming days, and within a few weeks it'll reach pharmacy shelves. When taken as directed, the pill touts a 98% effectiveness at preventing pregnancy. In the past, the U.S. bishops have warned against making the pill over the counter, pointing to the harmful risks it could have to women's health. For more than 30 years, one woman has been at the forefront of the fight for life. Wyn Powers has been praying the Rosary to end abortion since 1992. What she started has grown into an international mission. Now Wyn is putting Rosary for Life in the hands of the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has more from Garrettson Beach.
She never leaves home without them. This string of beads is part of who Wyn Powers is, and she believes praying the Rosary is responsible for saving lives, specifically the unborn.
Next to the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass, that the Rosary is the most powerful prayer in the Church. That the fact that the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, that was as a result of prayer.
Wyn started Rosary for Life more than 30 years ago after she was struggling with undiagnosed chronic fatigue syndrome. She was suffering with her own illness, but felt compelled to pray for life.
I don't know what is wrong with me. I don't know how long I have to live. So I decided to talk to my spiritual director about it. And he said, Wyn, just do it.
And she did.
I'll be lying awake at night and I'll be drawn up this little booklet in my head.
That little booklet became Rosary for Life's program and has been shipped to 27 countries and translated into 7 languages. 500,000 people in the Philippines alone have pledged to pray. Now, after all these years, Wyn is letting the administration of Rosary for Life leave her hands. The ministry will be taken over by the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal in the Archdiocese of New York.
I feel I don't know how much longer the Lord's going to allow me to be here, and that it was important that Rosary for Life would not die with me.
The community's pro-life mission aligned with Rosary for Life, and Wyn knew it was a good fit.
They're very pro-life, and I'm very, very happy that Rosary for Life is in good hands and will outlive me.
Now she has just one hope for what she started.
That it will grow and that eventually abortion will be outlawed.
The structure of her ministry is changing, but her beliefs are unfazed.
Only God can give a life, and only God can take a life. And it's not up to us to say who lives or dies, that belongs to God alone.
Rosary for Life is in someone else's hands, but Wyn's Rosary will never leave hers. In Garrettson Beach, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Bishops across New York are also hoping to help moms in need. They've launched a resources page designed to help you find a pro-life center near you. Just go to nyscatholic.org/help for moms. There's also a statewide map that directs you to local Catholic parishes that have ministries available. In the Diocese of Brooklyn, there are a number of places ready to help. There are currently 2 pregnancy centers, the Life Center of New York on 5th Avenue in Brooklyn and the Bridge to Life in College Point, Queens. In terms of housing options for young mothers with children, there are actually 5 options. 3 Providence houses, one on Church Avenue in Brooklyn, one on Prospect Avenue, Brooklyn, and one in Jamaica, Queens. There's also 2 more Brooklyn centers, the Rose Kennedy Family Center on Halsey Street and Bethany House on Sidham Street. This week is all about helping kids in the Diocese of Brooklyn learn to love reading. It's the Great Diocesan Read Aloud. Guest readers, either in person or virtually, try to inspire students to pick up a book. I had the pleasure of reading A Little Respect Cultivates Kindness to 2nd graders at St. Catherine of Genoa, St. Therese of Lisieux in Brooklyn. It was awesome. And finally tonight, Queens celebrated St. Patrick's Day early, holding a parade of their own in Rockaway. The 49th annual Queens County St. Patrick's Day Parade kicked off on Saturday despite the rain, and leading the way for the Diocese of Brooklyn was Bishop Robert Brennan. He received the honor of being the parade's Gale of the Year. He also celebrated Mass with the parade goers at St. Francis de Sales Church before stepping out in the rain. And that is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.